Check, 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 check. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, guys. Hello out there, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing good. Under the weather, but I am here to troll. Hey, Tommy. Thanks. Glad you're here, dude. Good old Tommy. I love Tommy. Oh, heavens. Let's see here. Let me just do a little tweaking. Good audio. Thanks, sir. Christopher Hall, how you doing there, buddy? I'm glad you hear us. Thank you. I'm glad you let me know that. We're going to be getting started here in just a few minutes. No, Justin is not going to be joining me today. You guys be praying for Justin. His grandfather died last week, and they had the funeral yesterday, and he is with family, taking care of things, doing all that. So he's basically, incommunicado here for the week. He's had to take an extra week off. Everything should be back to normal for all of us all next week. So I just thought I would do a live show today. We're actually going to be talking about disaster-proofing your platforms that you're publishing on. And excuse me. And I've got about 6 minutes here before I launch. Man, that is bright. I'm going to tweak my window over here a little bit, guys. See if that looks any better. Cool. All right. Guys, I think I want to go change shirts. So give me here just a second. Prayers for Justin and his family. Yes. Hey, I want to know, I'm going to step in the other room for just a second. I want to know, while I'm gone, how you guys spent your holiday. How was the Christmas break for you guys? What'd y'all do? Did you visit family? What did your church do? Did y'all have like a big thing, a small thing, whatever? So let me know. And I'm going to step in the other room for just a second. Yes, this is a pullover windbreaker thing. Why am I wearing a pullover windbreaker thing inside? Why? Because I'm cheap. I try to keep our expenses down as much as possible, and so one of the things I do, especially in the winter time, is I keep the heater down to 68, 69, 70, something like that, so that it's not running all the time, especially when the house is like half empty. Where hey, there's a squirrel out there. How cool is that? When it's a half empty, and Jane is already back at school. Catherine and Gigi are here with me, and it's a really pleasant day. It's nice and sunny and all that. So if it's just a little cool in the house, then no big deal. So yes, I'm doing a pullover here. Christopher says that he had a nice and quiet, relaxing weekend for the holidays. To reset, yes, I did too. And let's see, Tommy's been playing with his 3D printer and making Star Wars stuff. Nice. Hey, Tommy, you want my address? You want to add to the collection? Over there? See? collection over there. That's all my Boba Fett stuff over there. So I got Boba Fett on, where do you go? I got Boba Fett on that shelf. I've got some cup toppers from Taco Bell from back in '99 on there. And Darth Vader shelf right there. By the way, guys, if you would please, everybody go and share this. Share it to your private, your Facebook profile. If you guys have pages that you want to share this to, if you want to share it into other groups and stuff, by all means, please do so. Want to, especially here as we start 2018, really want to drive up our live viewership and the likes on our Facebook page and all that. What the heck? Yeah, I swear, I had to chase the dog out of here. That's Brian, my daughter's service dog, and I swear he hears me start talking in here, and he feels like, oh, I got to come in here and start playing because all of a sudden Daddy's talking, and then of course he's got like tags and stuff, so it's like jingle jangle jingle jangle jingle jangle, and then he grabbed my Uncle Si. You want to see Uncle Si? I got this as a stocking stuffer a couple of years ago, and so it just sits on a shelf in here, and he comes and he gets it off the shelf and then starts chewing on it. And so I'm trying to do a show, and here's what I'm hearing.
It's automatic. I think, hey can mean yes, hey can mean maybe, hey can mean no. The bottom line is you got to understand me to understand hey. First is pretty tired, then it's pretty good. Next thing you know, you're shaving your beard and wearing your pre-pants.
So, wisdom from Uncle Si. So all of a sudden I hear the dog spouting wisdom from Uncle Si. So anyway, I'm going to be getting started here in just a second. Gigi, you're on camera right now, honey. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get us started here in just a second here. Hey, Conrad Martin. Hey, Conrad. By the way, you and I started about a month ago or so, started a conversation. That conversation is still in effect, by the way. In fact, I'm going to be reaching out to you and the other people involved in that conversation so that we can get the conversation rolling. So, you'll be hearing from me very soon. This cam angle put the window reflection in your glasses. Yes, I know it does. Yeah, I know. It's it's just an alternate angle. I could put the camera over there. I could mount up a whole bunch of stuff, put the camera over there and try to, get it done and all that. But I need to be able to move that camera back over here because, like, when I'm using Zoom, like when we're doing our mastermind and private coaching, group mastermind and private coaching that we do every other Thursday night for CTA members, I have to use the webcam because Zoom, for some weird reason, doesn't work with the Blackmagic devices, which is what I'm using on the big camera. Can you see the camera? Well, you can almost see the camera. Let me see. The Zoom camera is, there we go. The camera that Zoom uses and that Skype uses and that even Hangouts, I think, none of them are working with the Blackmagic devices on Google or on the Mac, or on this Mac at least. So it's frustrating. So I've got these high dollar, really nice. This is a freaking 4K camera sitting over here. And, can't use it with Zoom. So, thanks. Hey, Zoom, Skype, all you other conferencing apps and services out there and stuff, y'all need to get stuff straight so that we don't have to rely on a webcam, okay? Think a little bit outside the box there, guys. This public service announcement brought to you by Dave Curley. All right, guys, we're going to get started here. Let me go. I haven't checked on the gang over on YouTube. Let me do that real quick. This is going to be kind of loose today, kind of free form. We are going to get started here in a moment, and I am recording it and everything, and this will all be part of the. There we are. This will all be part of the podcast for next week. By the way, you guys, the 2018 prediction show that we did. Stop the music. There we go. That we did right before the holidays has been published. It is at, it was episode 22, so it's at churchtrainingacademy.com/022. And by the way, guys, if y'all haven't, y'all need to go to ctapodcast.com and subscribe to the CTA Live podcast. You can get it on iTunes and on Google Play, and you can get it on Stitcher. And the next step, by the way, is to try to get it on Amazon, like in Amazon Music and Amazon Video. That's the next step. But I really want to drive up the subscribers to the podcast. So if you guys are not already subscribed to the podcast, please do. And Justin and I are going to be doing do a little revamp of the show. I've been getting some inspiration on how to do the show, and tell me what you guys think. I'm thinking about the CTA Live show being, instead of trying to produce something for the CTA Live, I want it to be a little more open, so that I can have conversations with you guys like before and after, which we do already, but and I want to interact, and Justin wants to interact more. But what we want to do is we want to use this a little bit more as the filming of the podcast, the filming of the content that's going to be produced later in the week. We've all got really busy schedules and stuff, and trying to do a complete my goal has been from the beginning to get this to a complete, end-to-end published thing where I roll an intro and I, do the breaks and do all this kind of stuff, and then boom, I've got a show that's ready to be trimmed and published, something really easy. But the more I think about doing that, the more I'm not going to say it weighs on me, but the more I don't want to kill Justin, because he's working in the middle of the day, so he's taking his lunch hour and coming and being on the show live, and so I want to be sure that we are that I'm respectful of his time, and if it takes an hour and a half for us to do it the right way, then I don't want to get stuck in that box, I guess you could say. And I want to use this time, like I said, more for conversation, and then take the pieces and put it together for the podcast, which we then upload to YouTube and uploads to our podcast host. You can get the video and the audio and all that sort of stuff. So now we're going to be revamping how we do that a little bit. It'll also give us a little more freedom. We can do the interviews with guests and stuff during the live show, which is, an optimum thing to do. However, everybody's schedule is different, and what I don't want to do, and I've told Justin this from the beginning, is I don't want to say you have to be on the live show, and then the closest we can get somebody is to schedule them 3 or 4 months out. You know what I'm saying? I would rather be able to work with their schedule, and if we need to record it at 10 o'clock on a Monday night, we record it at 10 o'clock on a Monday night, or we record it at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, we record it at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. I like that flexibility, and it gives us the option to have more guests on the show and bring you guys more really cool and relevant information. And then it also gives us the ability to, if we want to have a quick tip or a pro tip or a short tutorial or something like that, we can actually shoot that, later in the week or earlier in the week, and then add it to, the finished show. So we're going to be revamping a little bit the format of what CTA Live is, and we may even be changing the name of it. I mean, CTA Live, I think, is going to be fine for doing the live show, and we can probably keep it like that, but I think we're going to change the podcast name as we go. So if you guys have ideas on that, we are very open to it. Hello, John G. Mullet. Jordan being late is coming out of your pay. Yes, Jordan, why are you late, dude? Seriously. I mean, you got the email. I mean, what's the deal? You guys did get the email, right? Is everybody on the email list? You guys are getting emails from me when we go live, and we haven't been doing daily emails for the last week or so over the holidays, but we're ramping that all back up. I want to make sure that you are. So, guys, if you are on the email list, wonderful. Thank you. If you're not, guys, go to easylivestreaming.com. Get the church. What is it? I keep hitting the desk, and it's messing up the thing. Go to easylivestreaming.com. Get the Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way ebook, and you'll get on our mailing list, and you can get notified and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, look at that. It is. Okay. Let me hit the YouTube group. Hello to everybody on YouTube who is out there. We don't get a whole lot of traffic on our live stream on YouTube. Yet, we're probably averaging 4 new subscribers every day on our YouTube channel, which is really cool. Really love that. Really love that. Still haven't been focusing heavily on building that up. It's just happening, which is awesome. Yes, so Conrad is over there in the live chat on YouTube, which I appreciate, my friend. Thank you so much. And Conrad, if you would, if you don't mind, if you would just kind of monitor if somebody comes in and starts asking questions or doing something, if you would, I'm not going to be able to monitor the YouTube channel during the show. So if you would provide any answers, any wisdom, or let me know over here in the chat room or after the show, or after the official part of the show, then I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has over there. All right, let me bring up my notes. Here we go. All right. Let me shoot the intro real quick. I think I'm going to move. Let's see. Let me check the messages. I haven't gotten an email. Conrad, are you on my mailing list? Come on, dude. Come on, Conrad. EasyLivestreaming.com. Right? When you get there, Conrad, and then Conrad's email, and submit. Do that. You do that right there. Just do that. You can do it. I'll wait. Go ahead. Let's see here. Yeah, you do need to be. Seriously. Very disappointed. I'm going to send Boba Fett after you. All right, let's see. Let me check the comments real fast here. Christopher Hall, I get them, but at first they were going into my spam, so I had to save your emails to my contacts. Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm going to do, everybody does a little note or something that says, hey, be sure to do this. I'm gonna do like a little tutorial or a little video or something. I saw Michael Stelzner do that. Basically, here's how to make sure that you get our emails, that sort of thing. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to attach that to the emails, as well as like put it on the thank you page or something like that to make sure that people know how to do that. Yeah, thank you for letting me know that. It's it shouldn't be going to the spam. Are you using Gmail by any chance, Christopher? I'm just curious. Spelled spam wrong. Nice. All right, let's see here. And yes, this is a lot looser today, guys, because Justin's not here to keep me focused. It's like the Trump thing. Just let Dave be Dave. I'm going to make CTA Live great again. It's going to be huge. All right. Got the recording going. No dropped frames. Everything's looking good. Very happy. Okay. All right, I'm going to record the intro now. Use Hotmail. Yes, Hotmail, which is Outlook now. Wait, what? Okay, tell me about that in a few minutes. Hotmail is Outlook now? What are you talking about? Did Microsoft buy? No. What? Oh, wait, Hotmail. Yeah, not no. Yahoo bought Hotmail. Wow. I see a problem with the show. No movie playing in the background. Ah! Thanks. Hang on. Let me get one. Thanks for telling me there, Tommy. Appreciate it. Hotmail was always Microsoft, but they got rid of using the name, just saying how old my email address is. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So, what is it? What was it that Yahoo had or bought? Hotmail. That's right. Hotmail was bought by MSN, which was all then. Yeah. Okay. No, I remember all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Okay. Everything's normal. Okay, here we go, guys. No, seriously, guys, I got to record a show here. Okay. By the way, I've enjoyed the interaction. Thank you, guys. Gets lonely here without Justin sitting in my chat all day long. By the way, he may be joining us if he can. He's going to join us again. If you guys are just joining us, Justin lost his grandfather last week, and they had the funeral yesterday, and he's taken this week to be with family and get affairs taken care of and help with the funeral and all this kind of stuff. So he's been out of pocket, which is fine. We're basically looking at the Christmas break as kind of a two weeks away. So, we've done a little bit, haven't done a whole lot of publishing and all that sort of stuff, and working behind the scenes on some stuff and not working on behind the scenes on some stuff. So, kind of just taking this 2 weeks here to regroup and get a few things started and planned and just kind of regroup, So that's what we've been doing, and that's why Justin's not here. That's why I'm solo, and that's why, I'm kind of all over the place. All right, so I am going to get started now officially. I'm going to let myself know here. Awesome. Okay, here we go. Trying to come up with my tag for the beginning. Hey guys, have you ever woke up one morning to find out that everything is gone? Everything that you've been pouring your heart and soul into for months or years is just vaporized. That's what we're going to be talking about today. All right. Was that good? Did y'all like that? All right. Mastermind tonight. No, we're not doing a mastermind tonight because, again, Justin is out of pocket. So we will be resuming our mastermind live group coaching for CTA members next week. By the way, if you guys have not joined Church Training Academy yet, we still have a discount on our membership. So the price is going up, and it is going up very quickly, like within the next week or so. So if you want to get in at the introductory price, now is the time to do it. Go to churchtrainingacademy.com, click on the join button, and get in. Here we go, guys. Hey, guys, welcome to Church Training Academy. No, that's not it. CTA Live. Hey, guys, welcome to the show. And today I am without Justin. He is out of pocket, so he has turned me loose on the show and said, go and do something and make it really, really good, and don't embarrass him. That's basically what he said. So I'm going to try not to embarrass Justin. I'm going to try to be as relevant and bring as much value as I possibly can here all by my lonesome. If you're just joining us for the first time, you have no idea who I am or why you're watching this, my name is Dave Curley, and I'm the founder of Church Training Academy, which is an online website and community where we all learn how to use and exploit media and technology so that we can fulfill the Great Commission. You can go to churchtrainingacademy.com and see all the cool stuff that we're doing there. Have a lot of free stuff for you, and there's even a link to join and become a CTA Insider. We'd love to have you. Today, I want to share with you guys a very scary story from a very good friend of mine. Let me find it real quick. I was actually chatting with him this morning to get the lowdown on what happened, because it's been a year and a half or so since he pinged me one morning. So I was sitting at my kitchen table one morning with my laptop and just working on some stuff. I was editing a show or doing something, and my chat window popped up, and it was my buddy Gary Leland. If you guys don't know who Gary Leland is, he is I don't even know how to describe Gary. What do I usually say? Gary's like a media mogul, right? He's got this little media empire that he's built since 2006, 2007. If you go to Fast Pitch TV, he is the guy that started Fast Pitch TV. He's got like the largest and most widely used, viewed podcast web show on girls fast pitch softball, and he cornered the market on that. I mean, the guy's like in charge of like live streaming the Fast Pitch World Series at one point, which is really cool. He's like the definitive resource online for fast pitch, and he's taking his love of podcasting. He's the founder of Podcast Movement. He's a longtime podcaster, has done lots of shows. One of the most recent shows that he's done is the Fixer Upper podcast, and it's a show that he and his wife do after each new episode of Fixer Upper airs. And he's working with other HGTV shows for other cool podcasts. The guy's all over the place. He's prolific, and he's just a genius in this space, a real entrepreneur in this space, and one of my heroes. And I get to say that I'm one of the people that trained him how to do some of his video podcasting and stuff. I taught him how to do green screen and all that. And it's really cool. He's local here to me. Actually lives a couple of blocks from me. And so Gary, just out of the blue one morning, reached out to me and said, let's see. He said, hey, you have any idea how to recover a deleted Facebook group? And I was like, huh? What? What do you mean? And he said, I woke up and one of my biggest Facebook groups is gone. It's completely empty. There's nothing there. And last night, there were 50,000 users in that group. And I was like, what? You're kidding. He said, no. He said, I have no idea. No idea what happened. He had 50,000 users in a private Facebook group. Guys, 50,000 people that had said, yeah, I want to be a part of this group. And the whole group is gone. Now, Gary didn't go in and delete the group. His administrators, or people that helped contribute to that group, didn't go in and delete it. He just woke up. Facebook had removed the group. It was gone. And let's see. He said he was recapping for me. He said he lost one group, had over 50,000 members. He was never able to recover it. Okay. He tried to contact Facebook and get their help and got a whole bunch of automated replies. No help whatsoever. He said that he never was able to recover or rebuild that group. And he said it just disappeared. He's got like 400 plus groups on various subjects. And this was by far the largest one, the most profitable one for him, and gone. And his ability to speak to those people and to drive them to his products and his services and help them as he had been for, months and months or years, just gone. And he was completely dumbfounded, really angry, and completely helpless. Now, why am I sharing this with you guys? Gary learned a really important lesson that day, and I learned a really important lesson that day, and it's something that I have been hearing, wisdom that has been spoken into my ear many times over the past several years, has been that we as publishers, as content creators, okay, and in the church space, if you guys have done any of my training or learned anything from me, you know that what we are doing as churches is we're basically glorified event coordinators and producers, right? So you may think in one sense that you're doing a church service, a worship service, or a sermon or what have you. The reality is when you take a step back from that and take a look at what you're actually doing, you're producing a weekly event every Sunday morning, okay? And it may be two events. It may be a 9:30 and a 10:30 or 11 o'clock event that you're doing, but it's a live event. It's a live stage show, for lack of a better term, okay? You've got music, live music, like a little micro concert, if you want to look at it from a secular standpoint, an interactive micro concert, right? You've got audience participation, and you've got a speaker that is delivering a message, presentation every single week. You're producing live events, right? And now, because you're working with Church Training Academy, and because you're getting ideas on how to move beyond just the live event, you're also learning how to live stream that event. You're learning how to podcast that event. You're learning how to publish that event, and you're learning how to use things surrounding that event to engage people on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. Now, that's all great. That's wonderful. The problem is, guys, that there's a large portion of that publishing workflow that we don't directly own. And that's a huge, huge problem. It's something that Gary learned, is that he's at Facebook's mercy. Frankly, we're at YouTube's mercy. We're at Instagram's mercy. If you don't own as much of your platform, and if you guys don't know what a platform is, it's basically in this case, your online presence, okay? Think about it like this. If you're renting a space to have your church, you have a mobile church, right? And if you're renting the high school auditorium or a movie theater or something, you are basically at the mercy of the owners of that facility. Depending on if you have a contract or a lease, or if it's something informal, especially if it's something informal, you're really at their mercy. Sorry, you guys can't have church this week because we're doing a school function and we need the auditorium. Okay, great. Now what are we going to do? If you have, if you're leasing on Saturdays or on Sundays, the movie theater, if there's if there's something not spelled out in the contract that says you're going to be using Theater 7, they could be like, hey, we're using Theater 7. You guys got to move to the small one, or you got to move to the bigger one or something. You're borrowing someone else's facilities and you're at their mercy. So if they cancel on you and say, you know what, 2 weeks notice, you guys got to find another place. You guys now have to find another place to have your service. You got to go do it at at another school or another, and you got to find a room to rent. I mean, you got to do something, and then you got to let everybody know that we're over here now and stuff. So it's the same way online. We don't own YouTube. We don't own Facebook. We don't own Instagram. What we do own is our email list, right? And what we do own is our website in most cases, or let's just say an ideal case, okay? Now, we have to understand that because we are digital sharecroppers, for lack of a better term, and I really like that term because, the sharecroppers, they had very little control back in the day, back when they were sharecropping. They had very little control because they're at the mercy of the landowner and the parcels that he allowed them to farm, and the whatever the amount was, the sharing of the yield. We're doing that a lot in digital space. I have run into churches that don't have websites. I have run into individuals that don't have websites, that are like entertainers and stuff. I was talking to a guy yesterday for another show I do. He's a musician, and wow, he is a really good musician. So I was, putting together the lower third, to have come up and down on the show. I got his name, and I said, "What's your website?" And he said, "Oh, it's Facebook, facebook.com/blah." And I was like, "Really? Really? Only on Facebook?" I said, "You don't have your own website yet?" And he said, "Nope, don't have my own website yet. Everything I do is pretty much on Facebook." And I was like, "Really? What happens when Facebook says, I don't like your music, I don't like your page," and they accidentally delete it or something? What happens if you wake up one morning and you've got a group of 50,000 people and all of a sudden it's destroyed, it's gone? What are you going to do? You don't have any place to direct these people or any way to communicate with these people. You are lost. You are messed up. You are treading water with no one there to throw you a life raft. So I want to share with you guys some ideas and some thoughts about how you can kind of disaster-proof all that. First things first, we need to realize that YouTube and Facebook own their platforms, and they make all the rules. They have the right and the responsibility to police their platform and remove content as they see fit. And we have to understand that. We really should appreciate that, and we have to accept that. That is the way it is, okay? I don't know if you guys pay attention to what's been going on YouTube for the last last few months. Um, Creators that I know are referring to this as the adpocalypse. My buddy Conrad Martin, Conrad Know How, could tell you about this. My other buddy Owen Himsath, Owen Video on YouTube, could tell you about this. It's a plague that a lot of creators are dealing with. They're finding out that all of a sudden they're not getting monetized. Their videos are not being monetized. And they may have had like really good monetization. What's monetization, you ask? Basically, the ads that show up on YouTube videos. A lot of YouTube creators and content producers and stuff have ads on their content, and that's one of the ways that they make money. In some cases, it's like the only way that they make money is on, you and I clicking on that ad or seeing that ad, getting so many, views on that ad, and then the advertiser pays them a portion of money, according to what the agreement is with YouTube. So, if you've got somebody that's got 100,000 viewers and they put out a video and each video gets 20 or 30,000 views at a time, these guys can make some serious money. And what's been happening is all of a sudden the ads have been going away, and all of a sudden their check is like really small and they can't pay the rent. Now, what does that have to do with a church? Very little in reality, because none of us are like putting ads on our churches, on our sermons and on our Bible studies and on the promo videos and whatever else we're publishing to YouTube. At least you really shouldn't. I guess you could, but don't be surprised if there's that awkward time when you have a series on marriage, on obviously on biblical marriage, and there's a little pop-up that comes up for condoms, or a pre-roll video ad or something for Trojan condoms, and and then now you're talking God's Perfect Union, a study on biblical marriage, sponsored by Trojan condoms. that could happen. So that's why a lot of churches and stuff are not doing any kind of monetization on their YouTube channel, which is fine. And YouTube's fine with that. They got no problem with you doing that. Just, the law of averages, I mean, there's like 99% of people out there, they're putting ads on and stuff. So the 2 or 3% that don't, it's really not that big a deal to them. So that really doesn't have much of an effect on us as churches. The other side of this could. One of the other problems that YouTube has been having has been that people are having their channels turned off. Sometimes they're able to communicate with YouTube and get to the right people and get them turned on because it was a mistake. And other times they're just, they just have to keep sending emails and trying to go through support and the help forums and stuff like that, and hopefully they will get it taken care of. One of the big problems with a lot of these online services is their support or lack thereof. I'm not aware of a 1-800-Facebook that you can call and, hey, Facebook technical support, this is George, how can I help you? I don't know about anything like that. I know that at a previous endeavor that I was, we were large enough, we had a big enough subscriber base that we were assigned a rep to work with us, a channel rep that would help us with any issues we had or anything like that. And that was great. But I'm even hearing stories where the channel rep his hands are tied. He can't like undelete the channel. Now, why are they doing this? You got to remember, guys, that YouTube is in a very unique position. Something that really hasn't ever happened in the history of the world, really. I mean, the last really big broadcast communications type era was like when radio really kicked off, and then when television really kicked off. And you had advertisers, Procter & Gamble, Lucky Strike cigarettes, all that sort of stuff, buying ads on shows or starting shows, right? Remember that? They would actually, the Lucky Strike show and the, whatever product it was their show, and, starring Jack Benny, that kind of deal, where these companies would sponsor a show, start a show, do all the advertising on the show, and hire and fire, all the talent and all that sort of stuff. Today, we've got YouTube, which is a global platform in most countries, and they have billions of users, and they have hundreds of millions, if not a billion, people that are like uploading videos on a daily basis all over the place. Anything, okay? From, here I am drying my hair and I'm going to fix my hair and upload the video about how to fix your hair to, Jimmy Fallon, who, takes the monologue and puts it up on the YouTube channel, or, NBC does. So it's all over the place. And they've got advertisers that are trying to sell advertising on there. And these advertisers have certain standards, for good or for bad in their company. We don't want to advertise on controversial shows. We don't want to we don't want to advertise on political shows, on political content. We don't want to be controversial. So don't put any of our ads on any kind of political show. Okay? Don't put any of our ads on any kind of religious-themed show. Okay? Only put our ads on family-friendly shows. Only put our ads on family vlogs channels. There's that kind of stuff going on, and YouTube's got to figure out, how do we automate this process so that the ads can get shown in certain places? Now, again, that doesn't directly affect us as churches and ministries, because we're not doing a lot of advertising in our channels, right, on our content. The other side of that is they're also trying to clean house. There are some channels and some content out there that is just horrible, and they're finding this stuff because of the advertising stuff that is going on, and we don't want to be associated with this show or this type of content. There's a lot of crap out there. There are channels. There's even channels that are billing themselves as family channels, right? Family vlogs and stuff. But the content that they're putting in there is disgusting, horrible stuff. People hurting themselves. Children smoking cigarettes, babies eating poop. I mean, I know it's disgusting, and thankfully YouTube is trying to get all that garbage cleaned out of there. Some of it they're able to do by hand. They see it and they're like, let's get rid of this. Let's kill this channel. Sorry, guys, you can't put your crap here. And then the algorithms to sort of like find some of this stuff and deactivate it so that, this garbage is not being propagated and kids and stuff are not being exploited. And that's admirable. That's great. It's growing pains that they're going through. Now, why am I talking about all this stuff? I'm reiterating the point that you don't have any control over this, because it's YouTube's. They make the decision, and they make the decisions that are based on, and this goes for Facebook as well, that are based on their criteria and their policies, okay? An example, you have, there was a time, and I haven't checked to see if this is still true, but there was a time where someone, because Facebook has an algorithm or something that looks for something that it will visually identify as a nipple. Okay, so if you have the whole idea is they don't want nude pictures of women being put on Facebook. Obviously, they don't want, Facebook does not want to be a porn hub. Okay, and yay, that's great. But it caused some problems because, you would have a picture of, of your 2-year-old playing in the swimming pool in the backyard. A little boy. He has his shirt off, but because it identified the nipple, it removes it from your thing, and it thinks that you're trying to put up a picture of a girl or a young woman or something like that. And people are like, "Where'd my picture go? Why did my picture get moved away?" Well, because this is offensive, material and stuff. You don't have any control over that. Okay. Now, when it comes to YouTube and Facebook both, I take this thought of we don't have any control and I start extrapolating it out. And because I've, been studying end-time prophecy and reading Revelation and see how if you just cross-reference your Bible with the current events, in the newspaper and stuff. I mean, how many of you out there, show of hands, how many of you have said, what is going on? Right is wrong. Left is right. Right is left. Inside is outside. Upside down is right side up. Guys, there's scripture that says that, every man will do what was right in his own eyes, right? And that the right, people will do things that are wrong, and everyone will say that they're right. And I mean, there's all kinds of chaos and stuff going on out there. Because of that kind of stuff that's going on, we really, as Christians, don't have any control. I see a time somewhere that by accident or by purpose that YouTube or Facebook decides, one of the big problems is churches and is Christians, and they're causing problems, and they're intolerant, and we don't want to be associated with them, so we're going to shut down their pages and remove their channels. Now, Justin says Facebook's never going to do anything like that. YouTube's never going to do anything like that. Okay, maybe they won't. That's fine. There's a chance that they will. Maybe they won't accidentally shut down YouTube channels because of offensive material, and then the reality is that there's nothing offensive. Gary, who I talked about at the beginning of the show here, his group was like all about softball and fast pitch softball and stuff. Nothing really offensive in there. Somehow Facebook, either an accident or an on purpose, said, nope, we're killing this group. And Gary is still 2 years later waiting for an explanation. Not ever going to get one. He's out of control. He cannot directly affect their actions. He can say, hey, why'd you do this? Sorry. Hey, could you please restore it? No. What can he do? Sue him? Why? He can't sue him. He hasn't paid them 1 red cent for that space. He's not renting it. He's borrowing it. So will YouTube ever decide that they don't want to host church stuff? I don't know. Christian content? Maybe just churches. I don't know. Think about it. Let's look at it from just a financial standpoint. If none of us are putting advertising on there, but all of us are uploading 3 gigs a week or 5 gigs a week of content up to their platform, taking up their hard drive space, using their bandwidth, using their processing power to crunch it and to compress it and to stream it, and using their bandwidth to stream it out and not paying anything for it whatsoever, just freeloading on that service. And they say, you know what? All these churches are not paying us 1 red cent, yet they're taking up 2% or 4% or 5% or whatever. I have no clue what it is of our platform. Let's just tell them they either need to pay or get off. And so they start charging. Or they say, you know what? Just no churches. Sorry. Only content that is going to be monetized. Or if you're going to be on here, you have to be monetized. You have to let us serve ads. And now we're back at that situation where, it's the Biblical Marriage Series sponsored by Trojan Condoms. And here we are stuck. Or it could be that, a kind of an Orwellian type deal where, granted, they're not the government. They are a private company. They're a public company, they're traded and stuff like that. But, they're a company with their own concerns and their own fiduciary responsibilities and stuff. And they decide, you know what, this content we don't want to be associated with. We believe that gay marriage is good, and that's what we want to promote is alternative lifestyles and all this kind of stuff. And y'all are speaking directly against all that, so we don't want your content on our platform. So goodbye. And churches go and they're stuck. Anyway, I know I've really beat this dead horse. But I want you to understand just how serious it is that you don't have control over all that. And I don't want you to be stuck in a situation where all of a sudden you can't communicate with any of your church other than at the live event, and having to rely on sending out postcards, or your online content dissolves, and now 5 years worth of sermons and Bible studies that you have published on your website are not accessible. The written part is, but all of the videos just show this content is no longer available. So I want to give you guys a few tips, some action steps that you guys can take to kind of make this a little bit more bulletproof, maybe, so that if something goes wrong, you're still covered. You can still, take a little time, but you can easily recover from a lot of this stuff. So what can you do? So what can you do? First things first, you guys need to be hosting your own website. If you don't have a website, you need to set up a website. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, guys. Don't rely on somebody else to provide you with space to promote yourself, because at some point they're going to change things up, or it's going to get lost on the shuffle, or they're going to change their business model, and you're left out in the cold. When someone says, "Hey, what's your church's website?" and you say, "We're Tate Springs Baptist Church on Facebook," that's not what you should be saying. You should be saying, "Go to tatesprings.com," right? Or Bill and Ted's Excellent Baptist Church.com, or whatever it is, okay? GraceCommunityOnline.com, whatever it is, okay? You need to have your own website where you're publishing your own content at that website, and then seeding it out to the social platforms and YouTube and Instagram and all that sort of stuff, okay? Everything starts and stops at your website. All roads point back to your website, and from your website, things go out, okay? Now, parenthetically, there are hosting platforms that are better than the others, okay? I tell everybody, and I have for years, and I'm going to keep telling everybody for years, you need to have a website that you have the most control over, okay? Which means that you can back up and put somewhere else with a modicum of effort, okay? And here's an example. There is a video hosting company called Vidler that I used to use. They came out in 2007, 2008, something like that. And they had like a free service, and they had like a paid for service. And so like some of my clients and stuff, we had stuff that just using their free side, and some of them were paying. And at some point, Vidler said, "You know what? We're going to charge a lot of money for our paid service. We're going to change our business model, and we're going to do things a lot different." So emails went out that said, "Hey, everybody that's got that's got a free account, here's a link to download your stuff, and you guys have 30 days to clear off our platform. We don't want you anymore." I mean, like it was nicely worded, but that was the sentiment that they said. So, we're stuck. I've got these things embedded all over the place. Couldn't do anything. Had to download my content and take it somewhere else. Okay. There are website hosting services targeting churches, and I know that sounds negative, and it's not, but I don't like it. They are they sell you a package that has so many pages and has so many updates, and if you want to add video, then it's X amount more a month and all this kind of stuff. I don't like those services because they usually lock you into their platform, and their platform is, it may be standards compliant, but it's really not standards compliant. They make it hard for you to migrate to another platform. If they don't, at the very least, provide you a way to export your content so that you can put it on a WordPress-based website, then you're kind of stuck having to be their customer. And again, you're out of control. Now, you're paying for the account, and yes, it's yours, and quote unquote, you own it. And you have, say on what goes on it and what doesn't go on it and all that kind of stuff. But you're kind of at their mercy again. So I tell people, go with a platform that you can easily bring in your content and easily take your content away. And WordPress is the easiest and most flexible way for you to do that. Okay, so if you're looking for WordPress hosting, then I've got an affiliate link. You can go to churchtrainingacademy.com/siteground, and that's who we're using. And I love them. I think they're great. They're fast. They do some great caching. It's great, fantastic. There's other services. You can use Duda, which is one of the ones that Justin uses. He develops using their platform, and he loves it. There's Wix. There's Squarespace. There's easy to use, easy to navigate. But they also provide ways for you to get your content out so that you can put it somewhere else. In fact, with Squarespace, you can take a WordPress site and ingest it into Squarespace. And when you're done, if you're I don't want it to be on Squarespace anymore, you can export it back out so that it can go to another, to a site using WordPress or whatever. That's really flexible. That's great. Own it. Another thing you need to do is you need to have an email list. If you don't have an email list, guys, then you really have no surefire way to be able to communicate with people, okay? If your church's Facebook group goes away or the Facebook page gets shut down, you can't deliver a message. You're going to have to mail things out if you can't email them, right? So do that. That gives you the ability to do things like do your announcements through email. You can do a newsletter if you want. There's pros and cons against doing newsletters. You can send out regular emails, regular communications. You can segment that email list, which is really cool. You can, you can have new members, and so you have a series of emails that only goes to brand new members. In fact, you can have an email sequence that every time a new person joins the church, and they get categorized as new member to the church, then they go through a welcome series. Or people that come and visit the church and give you the email and categorized as visitors. Then you can have certain emails that you send out to them that are specifically designed to help move them from being a visitor to becoming a member. And then once they're a member, from being a member to engaging in a Bible study or something. I mean, you can do all kinds of great stuff with an email service. We use ActiveCampaign, love ActiveCampaign. So, and I'll put a link down in the show notes for both SiteGround and ActiveCampaign. That's what we're using here at Church Training Academy. That's who we like, and that's who we recommend. Now, owning your own website, publishing all your stuff on there. Boom, there's that. Now, how about publishing your content, okay? So I talk about a publishing workflow or an outline for publishing that I want to share with you guys. And I recommend this for all churches. We're doing this at Tate Springs. I'm now officially part of the staff at our church, so I can really start moving forward on a lot of the stuff for our church, where our church has been very behind in a lot of this. And so now that I can actually control the publishing platforms and stuff like that we're using at our church, I'm bringing our church up to the point of everything that I've been teaching you guys. So here's an outline that I'm using. You publish your services to YouTube. Now, if you're live streaming, right, to YouTube or Facebook or multiple points if you want, kind of like I'm doing here. I'm publishing to Facebook, and I'm also publishing on another machine over here, is publishing to YouTube. So you record your sermon and trim it up and all that, and then upload it to YouTube. Now, the question is, do you do the entire, from, hey, guys, welcome, and all the opening music and stuff to the benediction and put it on YouTube? That's fine. A lot of people do that. A lot of churches do that. Or do you do just like the sermons, okay? I am in the camp that says do the sermons because you can use that. You can basically build a reference archive on YouTube. YouTube automatically generates closed captions and stuff. Sometimes it's really, really good, and sometimes it's comically off, and you can always go in and update it and change it or upload a transcript or do stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that YouTube understands human language at about a 6th or 7th grade level, which means it can generate those captions, which means it can hear what you're saying and write the words down, transcribe the words. And then because it has a transcription that it uses, that gets indexed and becomes part of the search. Now, it ain't perfect, like I said, but it becomes part of the search. So you increase the ability of your content being found because it's generated a transcript, or it's generated a the captions for it, and those captions are indexed, so it knows that, hey, you talk about biblical marriage. So when someone does a search on biblical marriage, there's a greater chance that your content will be found out. Now, you can also put all that information in the description, and that really helps as well. Anyway, YouTube is a free platform, so it's a great place, and it's got its own ecosystem, and it's got its own. There are people that only operate on YouTube, only watch things on YouTube, so you can minister to those people on that platform. So publish it. Also gives you the ability to take that and embed it on the post on your website. Okay, so now you've got the YouTube video posted on your website. Now, on the other side of this, the next thing you should be doing is podcasting an audio podcast. 2 versions of the audio podcast. That's going to be the entire service, because there's people that are going to want to be driving in the car doing the praise and worship and then sit there for 30 minutes and listen to the sermon. They got a long commute. And then there's just the sermon version, because there's people that are like, I don't want to be singing in the car. I don't want to have to skip forward. I don't want to do anything. I just want to hear the next iteration in this series, this sermon series. So I'm going to only subscribe to the sermon-only version of the audio podcast. So you're going to do both of those. You're going to do the same thing with video. And this is where some of your redundancy and safety comes in. Because you're podcasting, and you're podcasting audio and video, and you're paying, $30 a month or $40 a month or whatever for your podcasting host, like Podbean. If you go to getpodbean.com, that's who we're using at our church. Love Podbean. What Podbean does is they're, it's like $340 a year or something. But it comes out to like $30 a month, I think it is. But you can get audio and video podcasting, which is cool. So you can upload your video, you can upload your audio, you can upload multiple versions, like I talk about: sermon-only audio, sermon-only video, full audio, full video. You can upload them there, and then you can tag them. Okay, you can make a tag that is going to basically act like a That's going to basically act like a category, and you can then basically build a separate iTunes feed based on those categories or those tags, right? So you can have iTunes can have like 4 different versions from your church showing up in there, which is really cool. Now, another thing that's great about that is you're now putting your video in a separate location, a location that you're actually paying for, that you actually have some control over, okay? Which means if YouTube says, no more churches, we don't want churches, or we're shutting your channel down because it's controversial or whatever, they do that and it goes away. Now you can just go and embed on the post your video version from your podcast host. Now, hey, Dave, why don't we do that first? I say don't do that. I say embed the YouTube version because you want to grow your YouTube channel. You want to grow the viewers on your channel. And you get to do things like have end screens on your YouTube channel where you can have like some icons that show up at the end where people can click and move on to the next video in your series, or the previous video in your series, or they can click to subscribe. They can do stuff like that. Even if they're not on the YouTube platform, if it's embedded in your website, YouTube still sees that as being on their platform, and so they can serve up the next video to you or the next playlist or what have you. So that's a real benefit to helping you build your YouTube channel. And the more viewers you have on your YouTube channel, the more you're going to have people that are going to want to engage with you, and the more you can minister to them, okay? So we're using the podcast video as our backup plan if YouTube goes away. Now, you can also use services like Vimeo. You can get like a Plus account or a Pro account. Pro account's like $200 a year, I think, and a Plus account's like $70 a year. And you can, with the Plus account, which is what I have for Church Training Academy, I use that to put all of our private content up there. So the courses, the videos that are for members only, paying members, right, only have access or have access to that. No one else can. No one can download it. No one else can do. Only members can see that stuff. So I'm able to lock it down over there. So that's what I use Vimeo for. Now, you can use Vimeo as a backup source if you want, and you can embed the Vimeo videos onto your website. And with the Plus account, you get like 5 gigs worth of upload that you can do a week. So, if you've got a sermon that's, an hour and a half long, and you have a decent a decent bit rate when you're encoding it, you can get that under 5 gigs easy and upload it there, and just each week upload the next one, and that's great. It's a great backup plan. If you want to like only do certain types of videos on Vimeo, you can do that as well, but it's there for you to use. And then I told you about podcasting, like using Podbean. It's just who I really like. I really like Podbean for your podcast hosting. Anyway, those are some tips and some things that you can do to kind of help disaster-proof, if possible, or minimize the disaster or the effect of the disaster if these platforms start changing things and decide that they don't want us to play on it for whatever reason. Okay, I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I know I got kind of long trying to make the point, and I hope I made the point. Some people are going to say, well, we shouldn't even be on YouTube if it's going to be like, if we can lose everything, we shouldn't even be on there. No. These are very beneficial platforms. YouTube is like the number 2 most trafficked and used search engine in the world because, you can search in YouTube, right? It's like number 2. It's like Google's number 1. And Google owns YouTube, and YouTube's number 2, okay? So you want to have a presence on YouTube. Use that, okay, while you can, and there's nothing that's, I don't think that next month or next year or in 5 years even that they're going to start pulling the hammer down on us or something like that, and they may never do that, okay? But just because we don't have direct control over the longevity of our content on that platform, because we're not paying for it, and in a lot of cases, we're not monetizing off of it, we're kind of at their mercy, okay? So use it while you can, and if something better comes along, use that as well. Same thing with Facebook. Facebook is heavily trafficked. Tons of engagement happen there. Build a community. Do that on there. But be sure that you're also building your email list, and you are definitely pouring everything into your church's website so that if Facebook decides we're going to sell and we're going to change our business model and we're going to go away, like MySpace. Where's MySpace now? Is it even a thing? I mean, MySpace was huge. People built businesses around MySpace. MySpace is gone. So things can change. If you're focused on your website and your mailing list and your podcast, things that you own, okay, then you've got a lot of flexibility, and you can minimize the potential for disaster if things start changing. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. Hey, if you guys are interested in live streaming or thinking about adding live streaming to your ministry in 2018, I got a free resource for you. I've got a free guide called Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way, and you guys can go to easylivestreaming.com and put your name and your email address, and I will send it to you, and it will open your eyes to how you can add live streaming to your ministry. And it's not just like streaming your service. In fact, you can add live streaming to your ministry today without ever broadcasting the service, which is really cool. So I show you how to do that. We talk about that in there. I would love for you guys to have that resource and start making live streaming a part of your church's ministry. It's a wonderful tool and wonderful way to start engaging people in these social platforms, especially like on Facebook. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. I love you all. Have an absolutely fantastic week. Take what you've learned today and start changing lives. Okay, that's the show. Let me jump over here and see if anybody's saying anything. All right. Hello, Adam. I see you joined. All right, guys. Thank y'all for joining in here. I'm stopping the recording and going to just record this back end piece. I know I went kind of long. Sorry about that, guys, but I'm really passionate about this, and I'll probably trim this up some for the podcast. But if you can't tell, really passionate about this. And that is the most talking I've done in like 2 weeks. Holy moly. All right. I love your Christopher Hall says, I love your perspective on doing the worship service as a live event. I wish more people would completely understand that. I know. Christopher, just to speak to that, I talk to folks and I hear it put negatively that they're doing the live show, they're doing the big concert and all that sort of stuff. Look, worship is an intimate thing. It's between you and God. And the worship pastor is the person who's supposed to basically help you transition from the chaos of your life into a heart of worship so that you can be prepared to receive whatever God has for you, right? sometimes the stuff that we're doing, all the stage production and all that, can be a distraction to it. Sometimes it can be used to effectively um, aid in that process and stuff. So there's a fine line between doing that. And I don't ever want people to think that that I'm taking it flippantly, that we're doing this, um, that we're just putting on a show. Um, but I come from the corporate and the entertainment world, where all the stuff that we're doing with live thing is to entertain and inform people. Okay, so um, God has no problem with entertainment. God doesn't want distraction, but He's got no problem with entertainment. So using cool lights and doing all that sort of stuff that can aid in that process, absolutely fantastic. Doing concerts, actual real concerts, where hey, we're going to do 5 songs, and we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to do another 10 songs from our previous album. I mean, all that kind of stuff is really cool. But the nuts and bolts of it are, yes, it is a live event that you're doing every single week. It's no different than my buddy Damani Daniel, who produces live events all over the Metroplex. He's known as the event nerd. So I mean, he goes and sets up unveilings for a Ferrari dealership and fashion shows and concerts and all this kind. I mean, it's a live event. The content may be different, but it's still a live event, and churches are really good at weekly live events. So yeah, if we have to think about that from a publishing and a workflow standpoint, but we also have to keep in perspective that yes, it everything that we're doing should be to fulfill the Great Commission and to change lives, right? And build disciples, right? Who is portable with church? Jordan wants to know. There's a lot of them. Let's see. Christopher, I would totally agree with not doing YouTube ads on a church website, but the ad issues is something that we need to watch for. Yeah, you got to be careful. Conrad, big chance that they will shut down some ministry content if it's seen as intolerant. Could also be confused with copyright infringement, especially in your music with the CCLI license. That's right. I don't know if YouTube has like the list of CCLI stuff and approves it or not. I do know that in the years that I've been dealing with YouTube, especially when I had my my show, what was that show? Entertainment Geeks, the movie review show. I would put in a trailer in between segments of whatever we were talking about or had just talked about or we're getting ready to talk about. I may put that trailer in there, and I would download that from epk.tv, I think, which is electronicpresskit.tv. And there were several times that I had that the copyright holder, Sony, or MGM or whatever, would claim copyright, put a copyright claim on there, and like turn off the video and all that sort of stuff. And I would have to dispute it and say, yeah, I'm getting this from epk.tv. EPK stands for Electronic Press Kit. So I know Sony's upset because I am infringing on their copyright. However, they published this to EPK so that news and information outlets can promote and discuss their content. So I'm using it the way they want to. I did that a few times with YouTube, and finally started getting the benefit of the doubt. And so all I would do is like dispute, and like a couple of times I had to write a letter, and an email that did that. And a couple of times I had to, okay, here is my agreement with EPK for doing this. But they very quickly learned, oh, this guy's legit, so this is all fair use, so they put it up. When it comes to CCLI thing, I don't know if they have that list or not. But again, if you do get a warning or something like that, if your CCLI thing, I mean, it's if you have the streaming thing, I mean, it says we can stream and broadcast this stuff. So as long as that's covered as uploading to YouTube, then, which I'm sure it is, then send them a copy of that thing and say, this is fair use, here's the agreement, and blah blah blah. And after doing it a few times, you'll start getting the benefit of the doubt. You're right. On the Conrad, on the thing about the content being seen as intolerant. Unfortunately, I am not a politically correct person by any means. I'm happy to offend anybody, but so much of that political correctness stuff is infusing itself everywhere, including the upper echelons of some of these companies. So that's kind of why I'm sounding the warning. It may not be that we hate Christians, so we're shutting down their websites or shutting down their YouTube channels or stuff like that. It may simply be you're practicing hate speech. It's mean. People are offended, so we're gonna get rid of it. You can't publish it here. Sorry. Now, here is Two Girls in One Cup for your enjoyment. And guys y'all people been around long enough. You know what I'm talking about when I said that. Because that's not offensive at all. John, let's see. I think it's best to drive the traffic from Facebook and YouTube back to your website, get their email address, and grow your blog. That way, you'll have full control of your content. Yes. Now, you have to be careful, especially when you're dealing with Facebook, because Facebook would be happy if YouTube didn't exist because they're directly competing against YouTube for views, especially as they're rolling out their entire watch platform, which is their version of YouTube. They want the eyes, not YouTube. So they are depreciating YouTube links. When you send a link, of a YouTube video, when it shows the preview and stuff like that, that stuff gets depreciated. That will not organically go out near as much as if you were to upload the video yourself, right, natively. So things you can do, and things that Justin and I are starting to do, is if you have a YouTube video that you want to share and stuff, like perfect example tomorrow, okay, because I'm running late this week. So the 2018 prediction show that we shot right before Christmas was scheduled to be coming out Tuesday. It should have been coming out Tuesday, but with all the traveling and getting having to not getting back on Sunday, having to come back on Monday because of the weather and stuff like that. Anyway. Excuse. I didn't get it done. I got it finished like late on Tuesday and got the article finished yesterday. So, it's published, but I'm not like promoting it and stuff. So I'm doing that tomorrow. So what I did was I did one of my in-car videos where I did just a little 30-second promo about that. That is what I'm uploading to Facebook for tomorrow. So there'll be that video, and then the link to the blog post is going to be like in the first comment. So I'll publish the video, and then I'll put the first comment there, and then you can click on it. That is a way that I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone and appeasing both. Facebook wants native content, so they're getting native content. The link to what I'm talking about is over there. So they get the views, they get the video views, they get engagement, and then I get someone going over and reading the blog post that I took a long time to write and watching the video. So keep that in mind. Websites, yes, and not Wix or one of those, because they own your content and you can't export it. Okay, Conrad, that's a good thing. When Facebook, or not Facebook, when Squarespace started, they made it very easy for you to ingest a WordPress one, as well as when it's time to, it was a selling point. I remember doing the ads. It's a selling point that if you decide to leave Squarespace, you can export it and put it back into a WordPress. Export it so that WordPress would understand it. So, in fact, I even think they had a plug-in. I can't remember. It has been a while. Has that changed? Do you know if that's changed? I'm just curious, Conrad. Let me know. What about Vimeo? I talked about it. Vimeo is okay. It's more secure, but it's also less findable for outreach. Also buggy. It is less findable for outreach and all that, but it is a good backup. I still think that using some place like Podbean, and I've got an affiliate account with them, so if you guys haven't set up a Podbean account and want to, please let me know, because that'll actually help Church Training Academy continue to financially grow. Podbean is cool because you can embed those things, and then have basically get a view of your content. And I'm not sure if analytically, if it would count as a download, I guess, because it's the video is being used. So I would think it'd count as a down. So anyway, you can boost your podcast stats, and then also you're embedding something that you have control over, and also having a way to show people, hey, you can get this on your iPod or or through iTunes or whatever. So it's kind of a win-win, win-win, win-win-win all the way around. But again, I say embed the YouTube video simply because you can grow that platform by using that content on your website, and use the other as a backup. Let's see. Churches, yeah, okay. Let's see. Christopher, I have heard that we shouldn't just depend on those types of platforms just in case they go out of style or do something like restrict content. But today, for some reason just has clicked not to depend on them and work on developing your own platform. Yeah, I tell people that Christopher or Chris, whatever you want to be called, I tell folks to use these platforms because they're there and they are heavily trafficked, but don't hang your hat completely on them. Don't put all your eggs in that basket. And that's something that folks like Conrad and Owen Himsath, Owen Video, are teaching people is, use the platforms. Don't make it a part of your strategy. Don't make it your entire strategy. And if you're like a creator, a YouTube creator, and you're like building your business around YouTube, which I mean, that's me, right? So I'm a YouTube creator, and my business is YouTube is a big part of my business. Not necessarily financially, because I am monetizing stuff on there, but I mean, I know I'm going to make a couple of bucks. I think so far I've in ad revenue I've made like $15 or something. $100 is the minimum payout, so I got a ways to go. I'm not going to pay the bills with YouTube and stuff. There's other ways that I'm making money, but I'm using the YouTube platform for the outreach. So if you're thinking about it like that, then yeah, definitely use the platforms. Just understand that they could end up being MySpace one day. Oh, and I get the fine line, and I preach that perspective. I'm all about using what we can use to get people to Christ. That's exactly right, and that's what all of this is, Chris. Is a basically exploit every technology and media resource you can, as much as possible, to change people's lives, and that's what we're doing here with Church Training Academy. Yes, the last time I checked CCLI streaming license, I remember it saying worked with YouTube and such. Okay, so that's good. All right. If you guys have any other comments or questions, let me check over on YouTube just in case there's somebody over there. Conrad hasn't piped up, so I'm assuming that there's not much happening over there. Yes, nothing's happening over there, so that's fine. But it is there for folks if you want to use it. Go back to the dashboard there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it here, guys. If you guys don't have any other comments or questions or anything, I really appreciate you guys being here. I'm sorry I got a little long-winded. As you can tell, I am very passionate about this one subject, as I have directly seen the damage that it can cause with somebody if they, are relying too much on that one platform. The good thing is that my buddy Gary, while he didn't recover that group, he is prolific and is all over the place and stuff, and has, continued to thrive even with that one major hiccup. So, that's the cool thing. And he does have, contingency plans in place and all that sort of stuff. So just be smart and try to, broaden out the impact of a disaster if you possibly can. Guys, thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And be sure to go check out easylivestreaming.com and get that free Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way guide. Have a good one.